right. Good evening and welcome to Environmental Coffee House. Yep, we are we are in some goddamn times, aren't we? Welcome everybody. It's good to see all of you here. Let me say hello to Kim. Thank you for moderating, and Looney, and hello Moonman, and all of you. It's good to see everybody. I have Barry, Wanda, everybody that's here is good. Got a good show tonight. We're going to talk about a lot. I've got, well, I want to talk about grievance politics and overshoot, population, and kind of, history and how it all moves in together, really. And it started with the, when I saw that Orange Turd was suing the IRS for $10 billion for some tax bullshit from the first administration that was leaked and nobody knew about it. And presidential candidates or presidents are supposed to release their taxes anyway. So it's kind of crazy. It really is. But, politics just, it feels so unhinged. And everything feels like just so, it feels so crazy. It feels like, well, everybody analyzes, politics, what's going on. Everybody likes to analyze it, but it just all we're living through these culture wars and these crazy personalities like Orange Turd, ideologies and bad actors, and I mean, we're on the precipice with blowing up Iran or getting into some kind of war with Iran because the Epstein files came out and they don't look good, but they're so redacted that it's quite pathetic, being that they're redacted as hell. Then what's going on in Minneapolis, that we have the ICE goons murdering us and they're taking over, ICE is taking over Minneapolis. They're still there. And Tom Homan, Mr. Canned Ham, is supposedly there. It's not going to change much after that little Nazi Bovino left. It's just, are we making America great again? No, no. It's not. We're not living through anything that's normal. We are living through a 100% system failure. And people are not calm. They're not patient. They're angry. They're angry. So we're going to talk about these things tonight that I put together. I do have an article, and I'm thinking of maybe starting with the article. It's a pretty good one. Oh, yeah, Don Lemon. That's right. Don Lemon and Georgia Fort getting arrested. Georgia Fort, I know. She did some great reporting during the George Floyd thing. It was terrible. She's a wonderful reporter. She got arrested too. She used to stream with Ben Dixon, you know, Pastor Ben. And, but I want to put these in order. I want to talk about ecological overshoot and population, consumption pressure, all the material stresses we're going through, but it all leads to the grievance politics because this is what we are living through. Everything is a grievance. Everything is a pain in the ass. And then I want to talk about, we're going to look at history. I want to talk about the comparison. I want to compare the 1930s because that is the stuff I've been studying recently. All of that. But grievance politics isn't random. And I actually have an article. I don't even want to show the article. I think I want to go through it really quickly. It was from the conversation. And if I read this really quickly and then I can go through my notes, we'll talk about it. It was from June 11th. I don't know, maybe I should bring it up. What do you think? Should I bring it up? All right, let me bring it up. I'll bring it up so you can see it. Okay? It was from the conversation. And Politics based on grievance has a long and violent history in America from June 11th. Recently, President Donald Trump declared that he's bringing Columbus Day back from the ashes, and he hopes to make up for the removal of commemorative statues important to the Italians that love him so much. But Columbus Day has not been scrapped or reduced to ashes, although President Joe Biden issued a proclamation for Indigenous Peoples Day in October 2024, and the same day he declared a holiday in honor of Christopher Columbus. Nevertheless, Trump posted in April 2025, Christopher's going to make a major comeback. So, by using Columbus's name, which means Christ bearer, a president who covets the praise of faith leaders, yoked the explorer to his campaign promise, for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. By asserting the importance of Columbus, the president took a stand against toppling and vandalism of statues of Columbus. In this case, his act of retribution for his supporters focused on the holiday, which he could declare more easily than returning icons of a fallen man to empty pedestals. Trump's statement invoked the politics of grievance. It's a big deal. There's a lot of research on this. We're living through it. This whole administration is the politics of grievance. It's a center of resentment or injustice fueled by perceived discrimination that have characterized his actions for years. And the list of targets for his retribution, which have included Harvard University, elite law firms, former allies he believes that have betrayed him, now exceeds 100. It's probably more now, right? Isn't it more now? So as a historian, this writer, as a historian of early America, I'm familiar how grievance marked the colonial era. Throughout this period, grievance fueled rage and violence. European grievance in America. Europeans who arrived in Americas following Columbus's 1492 journey claimed the territories in the Western Hemisphere through an obsolete legal theory known as the doctrine of discovery. So Spanish and English, French, Dutch, and Portuguese rulers, according to this notion, owned portions of the Americas regardless of the claims of the indigenous peoples. This presumption of ownership justified in their minds the use of violence against those who resisted them. So in 1598, for example, Spanish soldiers patrolling the pueblo of Acoma in New Mexico demanded the food from local residents whom the colonizers saw as their subordinates. The town's inhabitants, believing the request excessive, fought instead, killing 11 Spaniards. Right? Kill, kill, kill. In response, the governor of New Mexico, a territory almost entirely populated by indigenous peoples, ordered the systematic amputations of the hands or feet of residents whom soldiers had thought had participated in the attack. They also enslaved hundreds in the town. So roughly 1,500 residents of Acoma died in the conflict, according to the National Park Service. A response seemingly driven more by grievance than strategy. So we've always been a grievance country. And the English colonizers proved just as quick to deploy extraordinary violence if they believed Native Americans deprived them of what was theirs. So then there was the 1622 soldiers from the Powhatan Confederation, composed of Algonquin tribes from present-day Virginia, launched a surprise attack, protest encroachments on their land, killing 347 colonists. The English, they labeled this as a barbaric massacre. So do you see what I'm saying in this article? He's going through history of the colonial soldiers. I don't want to read the whole thing because I have all of my own notes. Grievance drove colonialists against each other. So we have been a grieving motherfucking nation for a long time. But grievance politics, grievance. I'm grieving against something. So I thought that this article was pretty good, but like I said, I don't want to, it'll be in the show notes if you want to read the whole thing. But it ends with when President Trump invokes alleged insults to one community to satisfy the yearnings of his followers, he and his allies run the risk of once again stoking the passions of the aggrieved. And acts of grievance come in different forms depending on historical and political circumstance. But the urge to reclaim what someone thinks should be theirs can lead to deadly violence, as earlier Americans repeatedly discovered. Now, I do have a little video I put together to start the show. I thought that was kind of a primer to get you, going. You read that article. It wasn't a bad article. They're going way back because obviously this country has been, had a lot of grievance politics for a very long time. I want to go to the 1930s. And why some of the comparisons are misleading in dangerous ways because, and also grievance politics. Think about it. It's not random. No. And it's not really madness, although you think that the orange turd is mad. It's what decline feels like, collapse feels like, and no one's telling the truth. No one. Not in this administration. Imagine being so brainwashed that you think, I can't say it, abandoning our Constitution, due process, civil liberties, and human rights for a fraudulent felon is making America great. Yeah. And the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. Yep. Make America great. Oh, yeah, here we are. Making America great. So I guess it's time we're going to watch my video. It's like a little primer. I put together something to get you guys interested. And then we are going to talk about grievance politics, where we are, why we are in trouble. Big trouble. I mean, this guy has grievances against everyone. And you're seeing what's happening in Fulton County, Georgia. Don't let them fool you. They're stealing the ballots because they're priming us they're priming themselves to learn what they can do for the 2026 election. They're taking the ballots. They're going to do whatever they're going to do with them, and they are going to teach themselves how to do it during the election because we're kind of fucked. We really are. I don't know what else to say, but let's look at the video. Let me set up the video. Looked at the video and have some fun with it.
The most consistent tone of Trump-era conservatism is whining. Donald Trump is the biggest whiner, the biggest whiner I've ever encountered in life. It's what he does, all he does, moan, complain about his media coverage, rigged election, yada, yada, yada. The entire right-wing universe around him has taken up the same tone. I mean, just constantly whining, whinging about all the affronts and the indignities that they, in some cases, some of literally the wealthiest, most powerful people in the world have endured.
That's the actual functional definition of conservative, is sellout. But the problem is you can't campaign for office on that. You've got to campaign for office on something else. And so what Fox So-Called News does and right-wing hate radio does is establish grievance. And the essential conservatism now is grievance politics. It's, those people are doing it to us, right? They are taking, rich people's tax money. Oh my God, they're interfering with businesses' God-given right to pour pollution into our rivers. And this has, this grievance politics, literally, it's just amazing.
Americans who were seeing the demographic changes in their neighborhoods, they were seeing that their neighborhoods were getting increasingly people who were black or brown. There were increasingly people who were coming in who didn't speak the language. And they started to get concerned.
So whatever kind of effects they postulate, and they don't take a proper account of Greenland melt, but they show sea level rising linearly, which means that you really don't have to do that much about sea level rise. You don't have to worry for a while because it's rising linearly, but it's not.
You tune it to Fox, and they're reciting a grievance. This, illegal aliens murdered this poor woman's son, or Democrats didn't stand for the flag, or it was something, right? It's a grievance. And those grievances now have become embedded in the minds of, quote, conservative voters. I call them suckers. These poor people in the United States who vote for Republicans because they're convinced that those grievances are legitimate. Brown people are robbing and raping and pillaging, and black people are trying to take your jobs, and oh my God, white America, run in the other direction, and all this grievance and fear stuff. And the consequence of that is that people shoot.
We can't say that the effects of global warming are not hitting us yet, because they are.
We're out here today talking to people on the street about Earth Overshoot Day, which is August 1st. Were you aware of that?
No, I was not aware.
Do you have any idea what that's about?
No. What, Earth Overshoot? Never heard of it.
Okay. Well, overshoot is the condition where the scale of the human enterprise has outgrown the planet, where we are using resources faster than the planet can regenerate them.
We can plot them, we can see them happening, and the fact that they're exponential means if we project those forward, we see really serious catastrophic, in fact, effects in the next few years. Certainly in the next decade or two, the world will be completely different from the way it is now. But it's hard to get people to wake up to that.
In my opinion, why more people have been killed by right-wingers, white Christian right-wingers in the United States than by any other group since 9/11. They're killing us, literally, because they're so frightened, because Fox News and right-wing hate radio are scaring the crap out of them.
All right, so are we primed to talk about why grievance politics is destabilizing? Yeah, is destabilizing everything. And it didn't really start with, as we saw in that article that I started with, it didn't really start with the orange turd. No. Oh, that's Peter Wadhams. Peter Wadhams. Yes, that was Peter Wadhams. So grievance politics, it's a governance style. It's pretty bad. That's where we are. But it needs enemies. So as we've seen, at least, especially after the last 10 years, enemies have to maintain the cohesion. It's like a feature of this. And it punishes all of us truth tellers, science agencies or inspectors generals or the state's attorneys or federal attorneys that are doing the right thing, so they quit. Independent media like us, and career civil service people, we've seen that happening. They this whole grievance thing, it's also it's a loyalty machine, right? You have to pledge your loyalty to Sir Orange Turd, and then it normalizes those emergency powers that he's always wanting to. Like, we're all afraid of martial law, any day, martial law. And it's escalating. We're seeing that it's escalating into this authoritarian style rule because we're living through it. We see it on X. We see it on all the platforms. We see the videos. We're not on TikTok, right? No, not TikTok. But they are politicizing prosecutions. They arrested Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. They are selectively enforcing laws. They're trying to weaken the electoral voting. Obviously, that's what they're doing in Georgia, setting us up. And they want to intimidate everybody. And that's what they're doing in Minneapolis, because it's every day there's so much shit going on. They have this administration or regime or whatever you want to call it, has so much stuff coming at us all the time. We don't know whether we're coming or going. They want us like that. They want us to be in fear. Totally. They want us to be intimidated. They want to hollow out all the regulatory capacity. And they are also, and nobody realizes it, even Scott Besson or the people on, in what, on, the, that maybe not so much the billionaire class, but they are certainly messing up that business certainty. And like Besant likes to say, what is it? Strategic uncertainty. He's an idiot. He really is. But he's not an idiot. He's a smart idiot. But you see, we we are in overshoot. And overshoot is making political failure expensive. So in climate terms, overshoot. It's not abstract. We all know what overshoot is here. We do. We are exceeding that warming threshold for decades. And we know that, well, we have exceeded and we exceed the planetary boundaries. We are using more things than the earth can give us. It's a lot of extreme events and crop and water shocks. And then I talked about in another show about insurance retreat and infrastructure stress because of these storms. I mean, it's snowing in South Carolina, Tennessee. They've had horrible ice storms down there. The infrastructure is not made for that down there. Then there's, on top of that, there's migration. The migration pressure, and there is the geopolitical friction. There's a lot of stuff going on. These are just notes I've took just from, there's another website that I'll show you after this that I learned a lot from. And U.S. destabilization dominoes globally. Like I like to think of that. I have a meme, I didn't put it up, but the domino effect, everything goes boom, we're at the end and we're at collapse, right? I mean, that's how it feels. We got a financial system shock. Now, the U.S. right now anchors the global finance, but that's not going to be for long. Look what's happening in Canada. Look at the speech Mark Carney made, the banker in Davos. They treasuries are seen as safe assets, but are they? Are they? There's default risk. There's a lot of issues happening. And there are things like, what about the fact that the U.S. is becoming unreliable to all of the rest of the world, looking at us as unreliable? So we've had to raise defense spending. Yet ICE, the internal army that's terrorizing Americans, has a bigger budget than the Marines, maybe even some of the rest of the military. We don't know. They're trying to make us all scared of energy security, panic, so we want to drill more. We want to just do all these things. And they're creating these shocks through food and fertilizer markets because that's what's happening. So and the U.S. has already exited climate leadership. I mean, we've killed domestic decarbonization. We've weaponized environmental regulations, called it the culture war for that. Absolutely everything. It is just, it's just insane, guys, where we are, really. So, do you think that global collapse is actually inevitable? Well, maybe it's just the dominoes and, watching the dominoes, institutional decay. All of our institutions are compromised. Everything. And then we have overshoot happening, the overshoot conditions. Yeah, we have a lot of things happening. So I need to get to my other note page because I really do want to talk about I want to talk about overpopulation too. And it's not just because I mean, you talk about that and people get all upset about that when you talk about population and overshoot, but that's really where it is. It is. All right. So let me find my notes on that. Hang on. Hang on, because I am all over the place on my papers. All right. Here we are. Well, they're not papers, they're just pages I wrote, and I'm terribly not not always that I would do better. I always say I would do better if I just had paper, but I really wish I had like a screen that had all the stuff on it, so that would be easier than what I've got going. But all right, so overshoot, population, consumption, technology. And population really does matter. And more people means what? More demand, more consumption, more use, more overshooting the boundaries. In the US, per capita consumption emissions are so high that changing how we live and produce moves the needle faster. But it moves the needle faster than changing the birth rates, actually. It's part of the mix. And you know, think about it though. We really can't tell people. I mean, there are other channels. They tell people, oh, keep it in your pants, don't have babies. But that's not going to work. You can't do that because that gets very ugly. You know, it's not like that. It's not, you can't coerce people. You can't say that forcing people or giving punitive taxes or banning certain families, or like China had the one child policy, or policing reproduction. That's a human rights disaster. It's not going to work. What we need to do to slow down overshoot, if it's even possible, these are rights based. You know, these are things that have to happen. Guaranteeing contraception, but all over the world. But I'm talking, of course, about the United States because now we're going backwards. We have an Elon Musk, a crazy guy who's telling people to keep having babies but they want white babies. Basically, they're trying to deport all the brown and black people. So we need to have a free or very low cost contraception, long acting methods. We need to have no religious carve outs for denying. The religious should be separate from a woman's right to have it, to have what they need. And normal, everything, you should be able to walk in, walk out, and get what you need. You have to protect abortion access, and we have to restrict forced births. I mean, there's a lot of things. And this all leads into what I'm trying to say about overshoot and about these grievance policies, because a lot of the grievance policies we're saying are grievances, they're religious grievances against women's rights, women's right to choose. So in the United States, we really have to protect abortion access, and we've lost it. So how do we get it back? Is it possible? And you know, and reducing the unintended pregnancies is a big thing. It's a really big thing. So the Elon Musk pronatalist bullshit, push more kids, and then they refuse to fund childcare or health care, housing, schools. That's not pro-family. It's bullshit. It's pro-control. Then they don't want to pay. So the more baby push, having more babies is all about, it's power and workforce, which they're going to have more babies with no jobs because of robots. But a lot of the message recently is because of that culture war, you know, the replacement panic, and the more workers, more gross domestic product, and religious nationalist ideas about the woman's role. I didn't even pull up any of those pastors that are talking about women not working or women. What is the new thing? Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife, talking about, okay, the hypocrisy of it all. She's working, they all work, but they're talking about having babies and staying home, but they're not doing that. No, nope, nope. And I think these religious nationalists, their ideas about women's roles, forget it. It all has to go. So what are we going to do? We need to have different things, even if our population stabilized. Overshoot is going to continue through these grievance politics. It's going to. So what do? We try to make more building or for building efficiency, transmission, clean grid. Is that possible? Is it possible? We definitely need a methane crackdown. We need food and waste reduction and soil restoration. And we definitely, when are they going to end the fossil fuel subsidies for the fossil fuel industry and stop all this new shit? So, some people feel it's unethical to have kids right now, but it's really got to be a support, a voluntary informed choice. It's got to be the systems. You can't be mad at people. You have to be mad at the systems that are having this. No one should be pressured into parenthood, especially in a society refusing to prevent climate disaster and refusing to provide basic supports. That's the truth. That's the god-awful truth, But population is a part of overshoot. And the ethical response is not coercion, it's reproductive freedom. That's what I always said. And cutting the high consumption systems. We have got to change. We've really got to change. But that all goes back into the grievance politics. So I want to talk about we know that the overshoot of ecological overshoot, we use a lot more energy, land, water, materials every year than the earth can regenerate. And that's biophysical. That's physical. It's terrible. And we're seeing the insurance industries pulling out, and food prices are spiking. And guess what? Food prices are never going to come back down. Nope. So I've talked about that. I've talked about consumption, population. It's just the more people, more land, more fuel sources, more consumption. And then there's, material stress. It's like permanent economic anxiety, which people are going through now. And there feels like there's never going to be a sense of recovery. There's rising costs without any security. Who feels security in this chat? Who really does? Who feels any kind of security? Nope. No, there is none. There really is none. That's by design. So, okay. So we get back to grievance politics, which really does go full circle. We've hit limits. And you know how it is. Grievance politics. Why are the systems failing? It doesn't ask that. The grievance are, who betrayed you? Who betrayed you? And they'll tell you scarcity, which is happening. Oh, it's theft, and decline of systems, decline of life. It's a conspiracy. And it tells people you're not wrong. You are wronged. It's the othering. It's always that. It's the othering. So I want a kind of juxtaposition to compare this to the 1930s, because people will say, okay, 1930s were bad, but we survived that. And it feels good, right? To hear, okay, we know that we can. But the 1930s was kind of like this uh, crisis of distribution. We're in a crisis of limits now. We are. Back then, when things were going bad in Europe and things were going bad here, the planet still had, like, people still thought it was unlimited. It had a what you call maybe an ecological slack. We didn't know about. People didn't know. Energy was abundant and soils were degraded but recoverable. I mean, there was the Dust Bowl. There were a lot of problems. And people always felt like industrial capacity could expand. You could build forever. Oh, we could just keep going. We could keep going. That's why the New Deal came along, and that's why that worked. And massive public works. All of those things were there. So even the most authoritarian regimes could temporarily deliver some kind of expansion, but it was a horrific moral cost, because you saw that with Nazi Germany. But see, the problem with what we're doing now, it's not in the 1930s, and that grievance rhetoric doesn't work in our post-growth world, because we really are post-growth. We just can't keep growing. And it makes this grievance politics dangerous. It really does, because we can't expand. We can't expand. And authoritarianism in the 30s, they mobilized production, put everybody to work, making bombs and all that. They expanded the labor and expanded industries. They absorbed labor. They built shit, they bombed it. I mean, then the end of the war, or the war started in Germany, and Germany started marching into other countries. They went into France, and it went all over Eastern Europe. But it was built back. And I mean, what are we seeing in Gaza? Oh my God, what a mess. But see, today, the authoritarian, doesn't it feel different? It's like they're deregulating everything, and they are extracting. They want to just keep extracting. They want to privatize all the risk that they're taking. They want to privatize it. I mean, hell, Trump has his new plan. Trump Care, or not Trump Care, Trump save accounts, Trump accounts, $1,000, because they want to get rid of Social Security, and they want to base the Social Security on the stock market, but that the fluctuation, which will never give people in the future of the future, if there is a future, any kind of security. They suppress dissent because they are aggrieved. And because they are aggrieved at the Black and brown people and at immigration, which they're saying everybody's illegal, the grievance politics are what's caused ICE to be doing what they're doing. They suppress the dissent. It won't stabilize our society. And what it is, it's really people who's absorbing the pain. We are. And it's violent, and it's short-lived, and it's like a feedback loop. We're in it. It's like, okay, so overshoot contains the material stress, and then the material stress creates grievance. The grievance blocks adaptation, and blocked adaptation accelerates overshoot. So it is a feedback loop. We're not doing anything But in 1930s, growth could interrupt it, but it can't now. It's not going to. And that's why this is a crisis. And that's why grievance politics is leading to collapse. You know, the grievance says, okay, we're going to restore everything. But overshoot says, nope, 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 nope. Everything's contracting. And it's got to contract. And it's not like a choice. It's not like, okay, let's be pessimistic or optimistic. It's not that. It's we've really got to adapt to what's coming. Screw pessimism and optimism. It's we have to adapt. Or physics doesn't care. The physics of it. We have to share this. It doesn't care. And like Lyle Lewis might say, ecology doesn't negotiate. And he's telling us, with everything I hear him, every time I heard him talk, he was on the Climate Crisis Club. No, it wasn't the Climate Crisis Club. It was another space. And he was beautifully eloquent talking about everything we're losing. But here we are with these rotten ass people that are just aggrieved and angry, and this regime is chasing the tail of a orange makeup man. And civilization is like not mourning. We're mourning the end of the story, because the end of the story was promising. It ain't here. Nope. It's the end of the story is completely different. But we could we have to try to defend our election administration, courts, and civil service. I don't know how. I'm looking at this shit saying, wow, what's going on is so serious and in every single way. And it's frightening. But in a perfect world, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see local and state level resilience. It was getting started. We need energy reliability, and we need to plan better for water, mutual aid, and public health. Now, Canada's trying to say, fuck you, United States, because they've got all the water. And so now Carney signed something about, he was up in Thunder Bay signing something that really essentially says, screw you in the water, because we've always had a gentleman's agreement, whatever it was, with Canada. We have the Great Lakes, but I guess Canada has a little bit more control. And wouldn't it be nice if we did do the rapid decarbonization? But, and, anti-corruption enforcement. This is the most corrupt goddamn admitted regime I think it is. It really is. Have we in history? I really do think it is. It's like, forget it. It would be nice, though, to have a civil society and labor, be leading the way. We could. It would be nice that we weren't stumbling and we're dragging everybody down. This administration is dragging everyone down with it. It's like, this grievance policy that we're living through. And like I said, it didn't start with Orange Turd, but it really is. It's locking people into this permanent injury state. Tells us you're under attack. You're under attack. Not necessarily by physical limits or economic system, but by enemies. And you know who the enemies are? The enemies are scientists, regulators, the other. And it is fatal. And our climate breakdown doesn't care about this identity shit. It doesn't respond to any of it. It doesn't negotiate. It's just happening. It responds to physics and systems and time, which we are tick tock Linda says Lake Michigan's completely in the US. Okay. Well, I don't have enough information on, but I know that that's what happened. I will look at all your stuff as soon as I stop my spiel, finish my little spiel up. But we've got but we are living right in the throes of this grievance shit, this politics, and reality is like, it's a hostile territory. They don't want us to feel reality, but we are feeling reality because social media doesn't let us forget that. And these people, they think that climate science is like an insult because it tells the truth. And then environmental policies, they're attacks. They're attacks. And so somebody like Lee Zeldin's rolling them all back. And they say, somebody's lying. These disasters that we see, the floods, the fires, everything, heat waves, it's what they are. It's just somebody's lying to you about them. Or somebody started the fire. Nope. Under grievance politics, it's othering, and you can't break down. Nope. Can't change your mind about anything. So denial is a big deal on it. Denial. And delay. Delay becomes the strategy. So the more we delay any kind of action on cleaning up this goddamn place or degrowth or any of it, forget it. No. And it's not because these people don't understand. They've got to understand. But the more they put off anything that's good for the people or lie to us, it just preserves their grievance economy, the grievance state. It's like endless debates on this shit. They obstruct all the procedures and all the laws all the time. And they say, oh, well, solutions are worse than the damage, so we'll just drill. We'll just have more drilling. Because as Orange Turd likes to say, okay, windmills are so horrible and there's whatever. And he doesn't know a goddamn thing about any of it. I think he's got dementia, quite frankly. I think he's dangerous, and I don't understand why the hell the whole Republican Party is the cult of MAGA, Make America Great Again, like walking into a goddamn concentration camp. Nope. Nope. We're just having higher costs, broken infrastructure. Our food systems are unstable. It's not going to change. And forced migration. And they don't want to tell the American people why it's happening in the other countries. They want to say, they want to blame, they want to other. They want to say, all these people are coming from these countries because they want to take our jobs. They want to scare you. Nope. But, it's like fossil fuels are almost like, okay, they're an energy source, but it's a symbol. It's a symbol of not changing. It's a symbol of grievance against change. We're going to get back at those people because they want to believe in the climate hoax, and they don't understand overshoot. Nope. No. So they've done this. They've weakened all our environmental agencies and attacked our scientific capacity, and emergency planning is politicized. They want to take the money away from FEMA. It's very sad. But I've told you, what we can do, at least for women, and what we can do in the population realm for women to have a choice. But you know what? It feels like collapse is politically unstoppable right now. And grievance politics is not fixing the world. No, it's not fixing the world. They want to rule over this broken ass world. Yep. Just rule over the broken world. My God. Governing from grievance. Pretty awful. Pretty awful. So here we are. Here we are living in a Cassandra problem, kind of like. I like to say that, you know, that the cruel irony of it was that Cassandra was right. So as much as we talk about it, as much as I say I talk about it or our channels talk about it, but I'm calm and I'm consistent, and I'm not screaming. But you know, that institutional grievance politics that we're living, these people, they thrive in a way because it kind of feels righteous to them, though they feel justified in all of this bullshit that they've been forced to believe. And they're buying into the fact that the rights are conditional that we have in the United States. And they're looking at it, and they're not being able to identify that we have a paranoid administration, a paranoid regime. And when these collapses start, as they have, it's always somebody else's fault. Yep. I don't know what can happen. But it's not really all about Trump, though. It's the grievance politics it's like a computer, like the operating system of the state. Grievance politics. God, you know, God. Well, here we are. Here we are. I think that these politicians are addicted to being aggrieved, addicted to blaming, addicted to othering. Really, I honestly do. And it is just one day at a time for us. Totally one day at a time. Think about it. Think about where we are, and we're going to talk about things. Let's see if I have any more notes that I pulled up and wrote up. Because there was a lot, and it was the I'll show you the website. You know, I will show you the website. It's just sad because really this grievance politics, it's taken hold of us. It's hostile territory. We're being insulted. It's all the good things are insulting. They're insults. Everything's a tax. So there it is, you know. There we are. Yep, there we are. Where are we? What are you guys talking about? I'm glad you're chatting. I'm glad you've been listening to me, I hope. I mean, you know, I really, really do want to see women's rights be reinstated in this country, all over the world. All over the world. That's what I've always been saying. We could do so much if women had rights and didn't have to wear burqas and cover their faces. And now in Afghanistan, it was voted that women can't even go to school. This is like so fucked up. Yep, it really is. We're living through abnormal times. Totally abnormal times. Oh, God. What do you guys have to say? Yeah, you will keep fighting for democracy until you die. And Alex says, yeah, there's always music. Yeah, hi, T-Bone. Poppy, how much hurt have we inflicted upon the world and we don't care? No, because we have this guy who's so aggrieved about everything that he's just everything is to get back at something. And now they've done that in Fulton County. But you see, even if he finds, what's he going to do? Find 11,000 votes like he said? But no, that's not really what this is about. It's about learning how to steal the election, because if they can take the ballots from Georgia under the guise of the 2020 bullshit, no, they're on a learning. Why do you think Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, was there? They're trying to learn how to do this. They won't just come out right and cancel the elections. They'll do everything that they can to make it not happen by intimidation, by ICE being there, all kinds of things. But they're not just going to come out and cancel them. I don't think so. Hi, Gary. Oh, my God. We're not here to tear down empires. We're here to love and be loved. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. Love is enough. Love is sufficient. You're enough. You're loved. You belong. It's so nice to see you. Gary Hoover, I missed you. I missed you. I did. I missed you. In this house, I'm wondering if we're in hell. It's what we have to make it. It's what we have to make it. There is no rights difference from a man to a woman. None. Any such value that states here is a fallacy. All right. What I'm saying is that men aren't giving birth. Okay? So there is a difference there. Men aren't giving birth. They're just the sperm donor. Women have to do it. And then they get all of this control. Just go into the evangelicals. They're wanting to tell women what to do. But yet all those women that are blabbing on like Erica Kirk, they're working. What about Urusha Vance? Isn't she still working? She's having her fourth kid. Yeah. Definitely. All right. Hello. The only thing that matters to Trump and the oligarchs is money. People in the environment mean nothing. Preaching to the choir here. But I mean, I've given you things, everybody says, oh my, they never talk about solutions. But we do talk about solutions, especially with population. We know what we can do with population, but that has to be all over the world. But you see what it is? It's usually religious. And it's men. And I hate to say it, don't feel like I'm after men. I'm not, but this is what we see. Men are keeping the boot on women's necks. And they want to do it here. Just listen to that fucking asshole Joel Webbin. Oh, God. Yeah. Musk's name is all over Epstein. I did hear something. I haven't had a chance because I was working on this today. And T-Bone. That's right. No, we all have to vote. And to those people that say voting doesn't do anything, bullshit, especially in your local government. Vote. Don't be intimidated. Don't let these masked assholes intimidate you. Now, I know the Democrats are trying something. They're trying something, but, but I don't know. We've got this whole thing going now. Democracy versus the unitary executive, which is what they wanted to give Trump through Project 2025 and take away enforcement power from Congress. They want to have the emergency powers become permanent. They want to destroy civil service. So we have to fight. And how are we going to do it? I mean, we're out in the streets. They want to take away guns now. They want to tell you, if you're a lefty, you can't have a gun. The fuck you can't. Yeah, that's it. It is. It is. That's why I'm talking about women's empowerment. It's so important. But as I have lived through women becoming lifted up, women getting empowered, and now I'm watching it all come down like those dominoes I was talking about. So, you know, democracy can be legally ended if the elections are not determinative, and if the courts, that's another thing, courts shield executive power from accountability, which is what we're seeing. Law enforcement is politicized. ICE, that's what we're seeing. Emergency rules, he wants to do that and make it normalized because there's a lot of things that are normalized. But we're still there. We're in the danger zone, but we're not beyond it yet. And democracy hasn't legally ended yet. Okay? But unitary executive order is scary, and that is another part of this whole grievance, this grievance politics. And I'm going to show you really quickly the website that I have on grievance politics. Hang on. I did have another article, but it's too long to read. And most of you have probably already read it. This is an organization called Pledge. What is grievance politics? Understanding the emotional disavowal of democracy through resentment. Now, I didn't get my notes from here. There were other things I found. I found a couple of different organizations, but this was helpful. Why talk about it? Why should we talk about it? We're living in an age, and I've said it in just so many words, where citizens feel left behind, unheard, or betrayed. And that's how we feel. It's a state of mind. And politics is primarily through mobilization of grievances. And like I said it in different words, but perceived injustices grounded in bitter emotion more than in material instances. And we have been wronged. So I'm not going to keep going through this because I just did it, but it happens around the world. It's happened in France, it's happened in Eastern Europe, it's happened in Greece. So this website will be in the show notes if you are interested. They're developing new interests to map the emotionality of grievance politics using a 6-item resentment scale and other scales. So, they're asking who feels aggrieved and why, what emotions drive their engagement. Are they disengagement, radicalizing, or resistance? So it matters for policymakers. So this is important stuff to know. All right. So I thought I would do that. My last article, which I'm not going to read this whole thing. It is in Yale Climate 360. Overshoot, the world is hitting the point of no return. All of us know that here. With warming set to pass the critical 1.5 degree limit, scientists are warning that the world is on course to trigger tipping points that would lead to cascading consequences, from melting of ice sheets to the death of the Amazon rainforest that could not be reversed. I am of the opinion that we're pretty far down this rabbit hole. So, nature has so far balanced our abuse, says Rockstrom. I don't know, though. It's coming to an end. So if you want to read this, you may read this. It's got all the graphs and all the good stuff. It talks about all of the domino effect, like I talk about, the fear of the domino effect, in which crossing one tipping point triggers the exceeding of the other. Yep. I always talk about the domino effect because that's how I visually see it. I visually see those goddamn dominoes just coming down. I do. We all talk about the death of the Amazon, and we all talk about the methane coming up. So, we have a lot of things happening. All right? Because tipping points are hard to model with any precision. They're often left out of climate projections. All right. So, I'm not going to read it. It'll be in the show notes. I'm going back to me, and we'll do the rest. We need to flush something. Well, I personally would love to flush grievance politics forever. Let's flush grievance politics and stop electing people that want to other everybody and want to be like the video I said in the beginning when I showed Tom Hartman talking about this 9 years ago. I guess it was 9 years ago, the clips from him. Here we go. Goodbye. Stop the negativity. Stop the negativity. Goodbye, grievance politics. Oh, good. Monica, she's wonderful. I have a guest Sunday. I think Antonia will be with me. Her name is Andrea Edwards from the Climate Crisis Club. She lives in Singapore. She is something else. She has a channel and she's incredible to talk about. You know, she kind of fits the semi-doomer role. But she was a businesswoman like me. But very interesting perspective because of where she lives and what she sees. So that'll be interesting. Totally interesting. Yeah. All right. Bill Reese. Bill Reese has been preaching it. Yep, I interviewed him. There's an interview on our channel with William Reese. Yeah, you think so, Gary? We're far beyond democracy now. We are well into an ultra-processed reality, which is exactly like ultra-processed foods. We live within a prison that keeps us isolated. Love your neighbor and love everyone. Yeah, I'm cold. I got to turn the heat up in my room here. It's freaking freezing here. It is 2 degrees Fahrenheit. We've had a severe weather advisory for days. It was -7 this morning. I went out and fed the birds. And yeah, it was cold. And I'm moving out of this antique shop. I've had crap in for years. And tomorrow's the last day. I have to get my stuff out of there. It's been so cold. I haven't done it. And I haven't felt. Yeah. You want me to flush negativity away? All right. I'm not negative. I'm just truthful and realistic. Let's flush negativity away. But bees knees, it's not easy to be positive and walk around with a smile on your face when everything is fucked. It's just not. We're going to bomb Iran. Young people are scared of being drafted into World War III. The Epstein files are showing what a piece of shit scumbag pervert, but they're so redacted that we're not going to get the truth. He wants to sue the government. He's got ICE goons. They've got in killing people, killing Americans. I mean, there's just so much. We can be supportive of each other. That's the most important thing. And we have places to go when we need support. Here, we've got Good Grief Network. We've got those things if we need them. Hello. Hello, Mr. Kelly. All right. Yeah, exactly. I'm a goddamn realist because this is what's happening. I see it in front of me, but I've learned how to cope. Maybe it comes out in pain. Maybe, it seems like whenever Trump's president, I overeat. And not bad stuff either. I've just made a great bean soup today. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I want to thank you all for being here. I've enjoyed doing this show. Robert, it's nice to see you, Robert Forsyth. Nice to see you, MIDI doctors, because we have some people we have Canada, we have the UK. It's really very nice to see you all. It really is. I think it's time to start the evening going away music for the night. And did we make America great again, guys? Oh my. Oh my. So Will, thank me for being me. Yeah, and freezing there. And guess what? It's Pretty much, if I look this up, let me see if it's warmer in Fairbanks is warmer where Jim is than where I am. Oh, we are so fucked. But we can be fucked and love each other. Yep. Oh, and thank you today, Jay Saddletramp, for your beautiful donation on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Ah, it's great to see you, Lightning Rod. And it's great to see you, Kate. All of you. Nephrist. And here we go. And, yep, Canada, we love you. We love your water. Woohoo! Tomorrow, Climate Crisis Club, if you can stomach being on X. Yep. All right. Let's see, what do I have? What music do I have? Whoop! No, I don't want that one. No, I'm going to show you. The ending video will be the beautiful Florida vision of loveliness. See you on Sunday morning. How much I love you. Yay!